Hello everyone and welcome to LoL Weekly. I am your host, Solid aka Josh, and this is the show where we talk all about the LoL esports scene. Well, in LCS, boy was I wrong. And let me explain to you why I was so goddamn wrong in things I said last week. So, first I will recap what happened in the EU scene. Some of the best games were over in the EU. I don't catch a lot of the EU normally because it's slightly inconvenient for me. But when I do, the game's always spectacular. So some of the best games were Fnatic versus Gambit. Top two teams last time. And Fnatic taking Gambit was what we expected. But EG beating Gambit was what we didn't expect. EG being a third or fourth place team last season, beating Gambit, a number 2 team. Then we had Fnatic versus Meet Your Makers. Meet Your Makers being one of the new teams that came into LCS, Fnatic being the guys who came first. So this game went the other way. Meet Your Makers actually beat Fnatic in a brilliant game where they played phenomenally. And then, talking about Fnatic losing, they actually got beaten by Ninjas in Pyjamas, who I believe used to be the Copenhagen Wolves. All I have to say, the Wolves, god damn it, that's an awesome name. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's still awesome. We had a lot of upsets this week, as you can see. But a team that I haven't talked about, who are actually called a team, is Team Alternate, depending on where you come from, if you want to be picky. But they actually went 5-0 this week, winning all 5 of the games they played in week 1, as it was a super week, which was phenomenal. Team Alternate being another one of the new teams coming into LCS. Wow, did they blow everyone away. I was definitely not expecting that, and them showing that they definitely deserve to be here, if not more than some of the LCS teams who managed to stay in. We had Meet Your Makers, who went 4-1 this week. Gambit in third with 3-2. Then Lemon Dogs, EG and Fnatic all tied in those 4th, 5th and 6th positions with 2-3. And then we had 7th and 8th, SK and Ninjas in Pyjamas. Ninjas in Pyjamas, the only game they won was against Fnatic, but it was nice for them to win, to beat the number 1 team last season. Upcoming this week, we have a lot of games in the EU. I'm just going to talk about 4 of them and give my reasons why I think you guys should definitely try and catch them. We have Team Alternate versus Gambit. Gambit have still shown they are pretty goddamn good. Team Alternate have shown that they are unbeatable. What will happen? The new team versus the more experienced team? We will have to find out. Fnatic versus EG is pretty self-explanatory. They are tied, I believe, for those positions, going 2 and 3. So that game should be brilliant because at the moment they are equal. We will have to see if EG is improved enough to take down the top dogs from last season. Team Alternate versus Meet Your Makers will be a brilliant game, as those are currently 1st and 2nd, only separated by 1 loss. That was to Meet Your Makers. Who will win this? I don't know. I'm not going to put any bets on that, because both teams are doing pretty good. And then I put this in because I quite like Gambit. We have Gambit versus Meet Your Makers. The new guys, once again, just like Team Alternate versus Gambit, the new guys being Meet Your Makers, going up against the guys who have been around for an extremely long time. Before Gambit, they were M5, and now they are Gambit. Will they be able to hold up against Meet Your Makers? We'll have to find out. Well, over the pond in North America, we had more upsets. This coming from Cloud9. Would anyone else like to jump on the Cloud9 hype train? I'm pretty sure there's tons more room. Because everyone was hyping Cloud9, personally I didn't think that they could, well, show as well as they did, and boy was I wrong. Cloud9 ended up beating TSM rather decisively in their fashion. Although TSM didn't do great this week, getting beaten by Dignitas also, but CLG beating Curse really does show the downfall of Curse. Only winning one game this week, it's Curse, wasn't great, and then TSM beating Curse was what we expected. There's always been quite a big rivalry, at least I believe, especially it heightened towards the end of last split between TSM and Curse, and TSM stomped all over the falling body of Curse. I'm just going to wrap up the standings now. We have Cloud9 going 5-0, showing that even though they're one of the new teams in the LCS, they are mature enough to keep up with some of the older teams and just outplaying a lot of current LCS teams. Surprisingly, we also had Vulcan, who I have not talked about yet, coming much better now in a 3-2 instead of what they were earlier in the season. Team Coast also taking 3-2 along with TSM. TSM are still up there. If they can pull ahead of Vulcan and Team Coast, and they were looking for the top 2 positions. But then they've got to go up against Cloud9, who are on fire recently. CLG, Dignitas, both at 2-3 for 6th and 7th. And Velocity and Curse coming 1-4 this week. Curse really isn't doing that well. 1-4 isn't what we expect from the team that held first place most of last season. The really disappointing thing that I believe about Curse is, even though a lot of people attribute their losses this week to having a new support, but it wasn't Edward making a lot of the mistakes. It was their whole team. People getting caught out, not being in the right place, out of team fights, just not being on the best of their game. And this really scares me, because if Curse can't pick up their stuff, they may just start going downhill from here. Next week we have some brilliant games once again. Cloud9 versus CLG. Will the new roster of CLG be able to hold up against the undefeated Cloud9? We will have to see. Then we also have TSM versus CLG, which is always brilliant to see, because CLG were the top dogs for a very long time and have been around forever, and TSM came first last split. So we'll have to see how CLG can hold up against another brilliant team. Curse versus Dignitas. Will Curse be able to show their might against Dignitas, who are doing significantly better than Curse? Not great, but better than Curse. Wait, who isn't doing better than Curse? I know, that's awkward. And then we have Cloud9 versus Vulcan. Top 2, well, technically not second really, Vulcan, but I'm going to say it anyway, because they're doing extremely well. Extremely similar with almost all the other games. Cloud9 versus Vulcan. Can Cloud9 continue on the hype train they have been building and take down Vulcan, who are currently 3-2, along with TSM and Team Coast. Team Coast doing pretty goddamn good, I must admit. With their new lineup, they're doing awesome. Now, over in the OGN, we had the finals, and I did say quite profusely that I would think CJ Blaze would take this game decisively. Boy, was I wrong. I actually managed to catch these games, which I was extremely happy with, yet distraught at MVP Ozone's 3-0 against what looked to be a undefeatable CJ Blaze. Honestly, the way Ozone played was phenomenal. It really was. Blaze were just not on the top of their game, in my opinion, but that doesn't matter, because I think even if Blaze were on the top of their game, Ozone still would have beaten them, because they played phenomenally. That is the best I have seen the team play in a very, very, very long time. And I'm talking back when CLG used to be groundbreaking, that kind of old. If MVP Ozone do not make it into the finals, well, the Worlds, then I will be extremely surprised. But when they do, God help everyone else. Because if these guys can show what they showed against CJ Blaze, everyone should be very, very, very scared. That is it from the world of LoL esports. I am your host, Solid, aka Josh. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.